Good morning, Internet fans. It's Ryan Perry here, Simple Biz Support. Today is Wednesday, November 4th. Therefore, it is Social Media Wednesday. And as usual, I have Sarah Giametti with Pravaro Marketing on the other end. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day in Northern California. We actually got some rain, what's it been, 2, 3 days ago, which is nice. But the sun's back out.
It is. It is. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more rain, like 30 inches or so.
Let's spread it out though, over a couple of months. Today, talking about spreading things out, we're going to talk about Facebook advertising on a budget and how to be efficient, I guess. If you're on a budget, you want to be efficient as possible. You really don't want to just go out and just randomly try how to use Facebook when, if you use some of these simple tips that we're going to share with you, you really should get better results.
Right. So, every business who's on social media needs to build a targeted fan base so that you can eventually grow it into paying customers. And using Facebook's ad platform is one of the most robust. So it's a great way for you to build your targeted fan base and eventually turn those fans into loyal customers and buyers. And so the first step is, how do you build that targeted fan base? What if you're a new business or a newer business, you have a small following and you want to grow that? There are a few different options that you can do to build a targeted fan base. So when you go into the Facebook ad platform, you don't just want to go, just go after everybody 18 to 65, male, female, within a 50-mile radius of my business, because you don't actually serve everybody 18 to 65, male and female. So one of the ways you can do it is, if you have really good web traffic, you can do what they call retargeting. Is you create an ad based on your website traffic. You put a tracking pixel on your website. This is a little bit more advanced, but what it does is, and if you've ever done online shopping, they do this really well. Somebody was on your website, next time they come back onto Facebook, they see your ad. You can also upload your email list. So if you've got a pretty significant email list, definitely more than 100 people. If you've got something that's 500, 1,000 plus, you can upload your email list. And what Facebook does is they take your list and they match it to email addresses of the Facebook accounts that they have. And if they find matches, they serve your ad to those people. So now you can get in front of people that have already opted in because they're already on your email list, which means they've already self-selected. So it's a higher quality fan base. You can target them to like your page and be part of your following.
Right. And with that, I want to kind of do a caveat. A part of the whole being efficient part is make sure you're very selective in that email list. Don't grab everybody. I know a lot of people go, yeah, I have an email list. I send a newsletter out. One of the problems is that newsletter may go to friends and family. That newsletter may go to current customers. And that's, if you're trying to grow your business and generate new revenue from new customers, you really want to make sure that you focus in on and kind of disseminate that database to the real ideal people that you want to do business with. You talked about earlier, not just choosing male and female, 25 to 60 as an example, when maybe your core audience is really just female who's 30 to 35 years of age, as an example. When you really narrow your focus, and that's the goal here with all marketing, is when you narrow that focus, you're taking that ad budget and you're really focusing it on the ideal target client that you want, versus going, I'll take anybody or everybody who's out there. And there's a lot of businesses that I think struggle with that because they go, well, I'm in this industry where I can really do business with anybody. Real estate, as an example, I think is a great industry. Hey, if you got money and you want to buy a house, I'm your person. But really it's about, well, what type of house do you want to sell? Do you want to sell a single wide mobile, or do you want to sell the $1 million mansion?
Right. And also, who do you want to work with? Just be a real estate agent, we stick with that. Just because you can serve everybody, maybe you don't like everybody. Maybe you don't want to work with maybe you're 40 and you don't want to work with a 22-year-old. So, not that there's anything wrong with a 22-year-old ready to buy a house. That's pretty rad. But just, think about who your ideal customer is. And so weed out your email list if you can before you do this retargeting. Now, if you don't have good website traffic for the retargeting work and you don't really have an email list, maybe you're a brand new business or you're kind of just new to the digital marketing space, you can do what's called a lookalike audience. Or, the lookalike is a lookalike to those other ones. Targeted interests. If you don't have web traffic, you don't really have an email list, you can do an interest ad. So you can put something in there for, like us, it would be social media. Maybe we'd put in a couple of the industry leaders that we follow for inbound marketing and social media. And we can target audiences that also like that have shown that they like that interest. And so they're at least a little bit more qualified that they've shown interest in your industry. And it's a good way to build your following base or your follower base.
Okay, let me ask you this. When we're talking about targeting interest, are we just talking about people specifically then, or can we talk about sports, people that play golf as an example? Can I target that?
Absolutely. You can target just about any interest, and you can even drill down and target demographics of, for the realtor. Are they a homeowner or not? What's their income? So you can get really specific if you need to. But even if you just said basic, golf, people who like golf. And what Facebook will do is, as you add geographical areas in there, as you add gender and age range, Facebook will show you about how many are possible in the combination of settings that you have put in there. And so you can play with it before you set it live to see if you have a valid, big enough audience within your target area, your target market, your target customer with specific interests. And you can add, remove interests. You can have more than one in there. So you could have golf and golf. I don't know enough about golf to.
How about Corvettes? Maybe somebody's plays golf and they have a Corvette. And essentially, what they're doing is they're looking at the user profile and going, okay, is there any relevancy to golf? Does the person like golf pages? Have they actually showed an interest that says they like golf? And then same thing, if they like Corvette, then yes. Now just realize as you keep on adding all of these filters, if you will, your list is going to get narrow. And as long as your filters are accurate, having a narrow list is a good thing because, again, you're really focused in on your target audience. And I think that's the real power with Facebook besides the cost of the ads.
Right. Yes, you can get laser specific and really build a proper follower base that is your target market to market to. The next thing that you can do for advertising is utilizing boosted posts and boosting your own owned content. So your blog articles, your videos, the content that you're creating and putting out there, you want to boost that. And again, you can do this targeted audience and target to that specific audience. It doesn't have to be to your page followers. You can put a custom audience on promoting that, but that gets your content out there and gets it more exposure and more views. So that you can possibly drive traffic to your website from Facebook with relevant people, get them to see more of your information. And this goes with, we've talked about it, you want to have that educational component in social media. So you're not hard selling them. You're just going, here's some free information that I can help teach you about my industry. And get it in front of more people. And none of this costs a lot. We'll talk about budget when we get towards the end. But you can do this in a really cost-effective manner. But every time you write a blog article or create a video, you should boost it on Facebook to get better exposure every single time.
Yeah, assuming that it's a good content, and then great content, I'd even spend a little bit more money on. The other thing I want to talk about here is that if you're going to do any A/B testing, this is a great way to do some A/B testing. Or again, if you want to specifically pick out, as an example, male versus female, typically the language, the tone of voice, the words we use is going to be subtly different for women than it is for men. And it's just that simply the way we receive information is uniquely different typically, and I'm speaking in generalities, between men and women. So you could actually do a boosted post for an article that has a slant towards women and then run that and, run it for a couple of days, get some good information. run another one that's just for men that has a slant towards men. And then you can actually compare the analytics and see, okay, which one is performing better. And as an example, you might want to go, okay, I either need to tweak my ads, or this one's really working well, so I'm going to spend more money over here. And doing simple A/B testing, again, is just going to help you segment your list and your message.
Right. And you really only have to do the A/B testing for about 72 hours to see how things are working. You should have enough data within 72 hours to figure out which one of the ads is performing better and move the money over to the better performing one. If neither of them are really performing, then it tells you need to adjust both of them, and you do it again for another 72 hours. The great thing with Facebook advertising is you can change it pretty much at any time. So if you see in the first 24 hours that it's getting no traction at all, you can go in and modify it and try again. You don't have to wait the full 72 hours. It's not like a newspaper ad. You see the typo after it's been printed. Oh, well, you have to pay if you want to do another one. This one, you can fix it on the fly. So that's another added bonus to this. The next thing that you can use Facebook advertising for really inexpensively is, say you have a promotion or you have a special coming on, a new product that you want to promote. It can really help you boost conversions. So, you can use it through either the ad platform or through boosted posts, promoting that content, driving traffic to your website. So think about it, especially with the holidays coming up, those of you that are retail stores and might have promotions coming up, you can definitely promote specific products or sales or percentages off, and utilize the ad platform to get that in front of your target audience.
All right, perfect. And then we've got about 3 minutes left. So do we want to get in the budget now?
Yep. So Facebook is awesome because it's still, this will probably change over time, it is extremely inexpensive to advertise on Facebook. When you're doing what we started in the beginning, building your follower base, you can do it for as little as $5 a day. And if you did it $5 a day for every day of the month, it's only $150, $155 per month, which is not a huge budget for a small business. Should be able to stomach that. But you don't have to start with doing it all 30 days. Try it for 5 days, 7 days, 10, until you see it really working well for you, and then you can up that budget. But as little as $5 a day, you can advertise on Facebook, get in front of a very laser specific target audience, the people that are most likely to buy from you. And same with boosting your content. I do it all the time. I put $5 or $10 on a new blog article, a new video, and I boost it for 1 to 2 days to a custom target audience for laser specific for who I want to reach. And so, that's not a ton of money, $5 or $10. And yes, it does add up over time. So you want to make sure you have a budget in place and you're following it. But you can easily reach several hundred, several thousand people for $5 or $10. And so it's a great way as you're growing your business and trying to get exposure online. It's a great way to get in front of a lot of people for a small amount of money.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is I've noticed recently on my end, and I have segments that are already fixed, so it's not like my target group has changed, because I know that the cost to advertise is more expensive. As an example, you've said for women, if you target the mommy group, typically because more people target that area, it's more expensive to target. I think my visibility has dropped from when I was getting for the 500. Now I'm getting 250 to 350 for that same $5 spend. So the key thing is, if something's on sale and you have the money and it's going to be productive for you, buy it now while it's on sale, because Facebook is going to be, the ad, you're going to get less visibility for that same $5 moving forward.
Right. And we've been seeing this for years. It used to be for $5, you can get 3,000 people. And now it depends. And it really does depend on how narrow your target is, on what your exposure is. But it is starting to incrementally get more and more expensive because more and more businesses are utilizing it because it's so effective. Right. And so it all depends on who your target audience is. Like you said, yeah, going after the mom group, everybody goes after the mom group. And so it's a really highly competitive and more expensive group to target. Whereas I had a client who went after veterinarians and they paid like a penny a like or something ridiculous, because at the time, there was almost no competition. And so it was really inexpensive. So it really depends on how who you're going after, but you can do this all very inexpensively and very easily.
Right. All right. Perfect. With that, we are out of time. I think that the key takeaway here is that, even for $5, it's worthwhile for business owners to get out there, experiment with it, use some of the tips that we provided in today's episode. Go back, rewatch this episode, take some notes. And the really key to all of this is tracking. You really have to track what you said, track what image you use, track the profile of the audience, and see when things are moving up or down, and try and discern, well, what changed from the last ad to this ad that caused it to go up or down. And also make incremental changes. Don't rechange everything, because it's really hard to compare apples versus oranges when they look completely different. So with that, Sarah, as always, I appreciate your time, and we'll be on the air next week for another exciting episode of Social Media Wednesday.